We've got a little warm-up for you. If you're ready, sing along. Good morning and welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek. That was one of our new favorite songs by Sue Riley, who is coming to town along with two other musicians for the Pazzi-Palooza concert at the end of September. You'll hear more about that later. Now we're going to get ready to love, love, love. So rise in body or spirit and join us. That groove going. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look into the mirror. What do you notice? Who do you see? God's own expression manifesting holy and fully. I am pure and perfect. I am wonderful. I am love, love, love. In the mind of God, I am free and endless. I am beautiful. I am love, love, love. In the mind of God. Yes, you are. Look into the mirror. What do you notice? Who do you see? God's pure potential manifesting holy and fully. I am pure and perfect. I am wonderful. I am love, love, love in the mind of God. I am free and endless. I am beautiful. I am love, love, love in the mind of God. We gotta sing that again. I am pure and perfect. I am wonderful. I am love, love, love in the mind of God. Last time. I am free and endless. I am beautiful. I am love, love, love. Oh, I am
Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek. My name is Carl Jansen, and so happy to have you here on a morning that feels like the beginning of fall to me. I know it's going to get warmer later, but it's going to be beautiful today. Thank you, Lisa and Diane, for that beautiful song. And our featured artist today is Andoni Panici. Andoni, I got to hear him at the 9:30, and he's going to blow your socks off today, as he always does. You're right, John, as he always does. And he is accompanied by Dave, Brian, and Larry, so thanks all of you for sharing the music today. I invite you to turn your cell phones to silence as we enjoy this sacred time together. And please join me by turning to the camera and waving hello to our friends at home. Your presence adds to our spiritual community, and we appreciate all of you being there. Thank you. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. I invite you to join me in affirming our statement of faith. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. I invite the ushers to come forward. If you are with us for the first time, let me be the first to welcome you. And we hope you'll choose to stay and meet some of us on the patio after the service. If you're comfortable, I invite you to raise your hand so an usher may bring you a welcome packet. Or if you prefer, you may pick up your packet at the welcome table after the service. Inside your packet, you will find a connection card, and you may bring it to the bookstore to receive a welcome gift. Once again, welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek. We hope you visit us again real soon. Connection cards are available in the backs of the seat pockets in front of you. And with this card, you may submit a prayer request, and our prayer team will pray with you throughout the week. You may also share feedback and request information. So please place your card in the basket along with the offering. And now take a moment to greet the neighbors immediately near you.
We got a rowdy group this morning. All right. Cool. Good morning. I'm Linda Stevens, and it's my joy and pleasure to be a part of your service this morning. This afternoon at 1 o'clock, we'll be gathering here as a whole community with your Board of Trustees. We'll unveil our new vision, mission, and core values. We'll also learn about our community's financial well-being, facilities, Board of Trustee elections, and the status of various initiatives. See Jeannie Fusion on the patio after service for sign up for one of our small groups that'll be starting for our fall study. The book, More Together Than Alone, most of us have found that to be true, More Together Than Alone, has arrived in the bookstore. Be sure to get your copy before they sell out. Now, this next one is a little bit personal for me. I live in Rossmore, as a lot of you know, but I was very dumbfounded to find out that a world-renowned author and lecturer lived in Rossmore. And her name is Dr. Reverend, is it Dr. Reverend or Reverend Doctor? Reverend Doctor. Sorry, Lauren. I knew I'll get it right. Artress. And Lauren, would you please stand up? Actually, her claim to fame is that she was very instrumental in Grace Cathedral's Labyrinth, and she goes around the world teaching the spiritual meaning of the labyrinth and helping people put them together. And so she has graciously worked with Reverend Kristen, I understand, at having one here. So next Sunday, please be here for either one of our services, and she'll also be doing a question and answer after the 11:30 service. So hope to see you guys here. Mark your calendars for our Posse-Palooza on Friday evening. Oh, Tyler, was that you yelling out over there? No, of course not. Of course not. A little excited. It's on September the 27th. It's going to be a fun and uplifting musical concert featuring 3 award-winning singers and songwriters, including Karen Drucker, Harold Payne, and Sue Riley. See Tyler on the patio after service. The tickets ahead of time are $20, but at the door they'll be $30. And Unity goes to the 80s. Now, there may be a few of us who never left the 80s because they were so much fun, but we're going to get to go back to them on October the 26th. See the team on the patio for fun ways that you can join in. Now you can see your bulletin or our website for other things. Thank you.
I feel like I'm in a bit of a time warp. Is it going by really fast this morning, or is it just me? Yeah, okay. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that timeless, spaceless thing. So this is our time of meditation, and we always begin our time of meditation with a sacred reading, which Terry Curtin will do for us. What's so beautiful about our prayer chaplain, Terry Curtin, many things, is that she also reads with her hands. So you may want to keep your eyes open for this part of it. And then it'll be followed by some music and guided meditation.
Okay. The energy of divine is the fuel that excites me into action and empowers me to live unity spiritual principles. My inflow of divine blessings surges forth as an outflow of creativity, action, and service. Firmly centered in my source, I see divine in all life, including myself. Through my thoughts and prayers, I am co-creating the kind of life I want to live and the world I want to live in. Because of my spiritual nature, I recognize every action as sacred. I bring the vital energy of God into the world with every thought, word, and deed. And so it is.
So it is.
You can sink down into this song and you can sing along, or you can just listen, whatever's better for you.
I am remembering who I am. 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 I am remembering. I am remembering. I am remembering. I am remembering. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am.
And so, with every breath, we remember a little more. Every conscious breath take across the face of the deep, out of the very womb of Mother Earth, hurling forth from the cosmic sky. I am remembering who I am, developing in the dark of that womb, beginning to shine through the carpet of the cosmos. The starry, starry sky of divine light. In that beginning, when I remember there, I know that I am one with my source. There is only one. And from deep within my being, I can return to that memory, that place, the imagination of the time before. In every exhalation, a hurling forth, the flaming forth, the bringing forth of the form that is me and you and all the people in this room and all the people across the planet and all the animals, the fish of the sea and the birds of the air. Imagine if we all remembered. Imagine what a world we would create had we all just shifted one thought to the truth of who we are. Divine. One. And so whether you feel drawn to the vast cosmic sky of the Father or deep into the womb of the Mother, I invite you to enter that time and space, to rest there in the silence of creation, the one heartbeat, the one pulsation of divine light in the silence. And so it is out of the memory of who we are, out of this knowing that we are made in the image and the likeness of the divine intelligence of the universe, the deep, vast love. It is with gratitude that we remember once again and come forth to be all that we have come to be. And so it is.
I am remembering who I am. 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 I am remembering I am remembering who I am. A little wisdom from the Wizard of Oz. The Wiz. If you believe within your heart, you'll know no one can change the path that you must go. Believe what you feel and know you're right, because the time will come around when you'll say it's yours. Believe there's a reason to be. Believe you can make time stand still. And know from the moment you try, if you believe, I know you will. Believe in yourself right from the start. You'll have the brains and you'll have the heart. You'll have courage to last your whole life through. If you believe in yourself, if you believe in yourself, if you believe in yourself, as I believe in you. If you believe within your heart, you'll know that no one can change the path that you must go. Believe what you feel and know you're right, because the time will come along when you'll say it's yours. And believe that you can go home. Believe you can float on air. Then click your heels 3 times, and if you believe, then you'll be there. Believe in yourself right from the start. Believe in that wisdom right there in your heart. Believe all these things, not because I told you to, but believe in yourself. Just believe in yourself. Believe in yourself as I believe in you. Thank you. Thank you very much. The band.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, come on now. Let's have another one now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was pitch perfect in every way. You know what I mean? Wasn't it? Yeah. I would love to live as the river flows, surprised by its own unfolding. That's the poet John O'Donohue. Wouldn't you love to live that way? Like the river flows, surprised by its own unfolding. I bet you do a lot of times. Have you ever had that experience where time just seems to disappear because you are so absorbed in whatever it is that you're doing? Yeah, the poet raises his hand, right? The musicians get it, the artist, yes. The athletes, the dancer, yes, all of those things. Yes. And more. Anything that we're doing has the capacity to put us into that experience of flow. And when we are in that, time either stands still or it just doesn't matter. We don't care about it. We're not thinking about it. We're not thinking about lunch or dinner or the laundry or picking up the kids after school. We're just doing what it is that we are doing, because what has happened there is we have merged with Spirit. And Spirit's energy is flowing through us in a way that has completely encaptured us, enraptured us, captured our attention, and our love, and our energy, and our creativity, and our joy that comes forth from it. So, what is it about these experiences that allow us to sometimes land in the groove and then sometimes feel like we fell right out of it, What is it that sometimes we could dance all night and really feel the music, and another time we just feel sort of out of step and out of rhythm? How is it that sometimes we can just be there? It's not so much that we think about it necessarily, right? So we're going to unpack this mystery a little bit today and look at this experience of flow, because this is really our 5th principle. I remember one time in college, and I went to this ancient room. It was called a computer lab. Remember those? We didn't have our own at home, right? And I was learning this new newsletter layout program, and I would go in the early afternoon, and I would emerge late at night, sometimes in the wee hours of the morning, having no idea, because I was so engaged in learning this new system and mastering it in some ways, and creating from it and implementing from it whatever it is that I was making. I don't even remember anymore. It just didn't matter, because it was more about being in that flow. Being in that 5th principle is that action piece. It's the action part of Spirit. It's the expression. So is it random? Is it luck? What allows us to go there? It can be very conscious. It can be very intentional, right? And so that's where we're headed today. So the fifth principle is really based on the first four. And we've been in this series, for those of us just joining us, our 5 basic unity principles, looking at it through the lens this time, though, of abundance, looking at it from a place of prosperity. And so when we look at all 4 principles, we believe them, we know them, we understand them, but it's not enough to just know them, right? It's the living them, it's the walking the talk, it's the embodying spirit, it's being the expression of that is the key. That's what it's all about. That's where they all come together, is in this last one, this 5th principle, this living it. It's not so much that we have prosperity, but that we are prosperity. We are prosperity in motion. We are prosperity through our words. We are through our actions, through our thoughts and our feelings. And you know how it is to be around somebody who's in their joy, who's got that sort of flow to their lives, that kind of graceful movement, that spontaneous joy. We want more of that, right? We want to be around that, and it inspires us when we are in those kinds of spaces. My godson, Seth, I heard this story. I always hear these wonderful stories about him. He lives back in Missouri, where we used to live in Columbia, Missouri. And his mom texted me yesterday, and she said, "That's Seth. You know, he's always doing something that just melts your heart." And so he had lit a candle in the middle of the table, and he called his brothers and his moms into the room, and he had them all hold hands. And he closed his eyes and he said, "Thank you, God, for this wonderful life." Just spontaneously, 10 years old. Yeah, so it's, but that's a kind of being in the flow, isn't it? There's just this spontaneous idea that comes through us, a divine idea, and the children so beautifully make it spontaneously so in the moment. The rest of us tend to plan it out, right? Oh, when should I do that? Should I do it after dinner or before dinner? Should we do it? And the child just says, "Hey, everybody, come here. I got something to tell you." And then we join together and we give thanks for this wonderful life. It's that ritualization of everyday living that is key, isn't it? It's that, this past Thursday we had the World Day of Prayer. That's what the rose petals are from. And we had this beautiful ceremony where we had a heart made of candlelight and then a big bowl of water symbolizing the waters of the world. And we all took rose petals and infused them with our prayers and then floated them on the waters of the world. And so they're here now, so you can enjoy that energy as well. And as we were doing that ritual, little Millie, Michelle's youngest, our youth ministry director, I just caught her eye at the very end, and she stopped after she gave her petals and everything, and she just stopped, and she did a little prayer pose. Nobody prompted her to do that, except for the divine within her. The knowing that there's something sacred's going on here. I'm part of something that is meaningful, this ritual. What if we did everything that way? What if every time we spoke to somebody, it was with that kind of presence, that kind of knowing that we are connecting spirit to spirit, heart to heart, soul to soul, that this matters? Or that everything that we did had a sort of blessing around it. When we sat down at our computer, we blessed the space. And it doesn't have to be a long thing. We don't have to get out all the materials and, sage everything and drum around it and dance around it, although those things are all fun. You don't have to do it every time, But just to have just a moment to pause and just to say, Spirit is expressing through me right now, and this is divine. It's sacred. It's ritual. So whatever we think, say, and do can be infused with that kind of beauty, that kind of love, that kind of spontaneous knowing that what it is that we are creating and what it is that we are doing in the world, it is making manifest God. That's what really happens as you move through these principles. One builds off the other. So in the first one, God is our source, right? God is the source of all of our supply. And when we know that, when we really know that, then God becomes materialized as we move to number 2, and there's an innate realization of that godness, of that divinity. So as divinity is realized within us, God is materialized more in the world because it's through us and as us. That's what this is for, this body temple, this mind, right? Our hearts. We have the feet of God, the hands of God, the eyes of God. We are created so that we can be that in the world. We can bring it forth. And then we move into our third principle and we co-create. We start partnering with Spirit to see what we can shape in the world, what we can bring forth into the world that is of this goodness, this ever-present goodness, this joy, this peace. In prayer and meditation, it helps us remember again and again who we are, right? Like we just did, remembering who we are into meditation. Or the calling forth, the speaking into being what it is that we want to see materialized. And so from that then comes this flow, this idea of flow, this sometimes spontaneous or planned action that comes out of these innate spaces within us that know this kind of wisdom that urges us in one direction or another. There's actually a whole body of work around the concept of flow. It comes out of positive psychology from a man named Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. He's Hungarian-American now, and he's often credited with being the co-founder of positive psychology. And through his work, he was the first to identify and thoroughly research the idea of flow, when people are in the state of flow that we spoke of. And so in all the research that he did of people doing all kinds of activities, he found it doesn't really matter what the activity is, or even the person's level of mastery of it, for them to experience flow. And so this flow is experienced as the characteristics that are often said that people feel they feel very alert, they feel very strong, they feel unself-conscious. That one's a really important one. So there's no self-consciousness of who's watching or what do they think or who's going to judge me, but there's an unself-consciousness to the flow of the work. Because we are in partnership with the divine, right? We are coming out of that co-creative piece, principle number 3. He says there's a feeling that is reported that there's the sense of time, as I mentioned, disappears, but also emotional problems disappear. That there's no worry, right? There's no concern. There's nothing holding us back or dragging us down because we are in that ineffable flow. There's also an exhilarating feeling of transcendence. Like we're not, so that's the piece that feels sort of like spaceless, right? Or maybe entering into space, maybe coming back into that cosmic kind of place from which we have come. The stardusty experience. So we don't even think about all these things when we're in flow, right? We're not diagnosing it and analyzing it. We're just in it. We're just the action itself. That's principle number 5. When it's really alive, when it's really lit up in us, when we're really being that in the world, we're embodying all the rest. And because we know them, we might identify that or see that. We can see how somebody is standing on the principle of God is my source, that there is a sense of faith and fearlessness almost to take risks, to take challenge, because you know that Spirit's got your back, right? You know that you're standing in a place of strength. You know that there is power, there is protection, that there is divine love, that there is, because God is everywhere, there is not a spot where God is not. There is nothing to fear. There is no devil. It's the trickster of our own mind that allows us to begin to believe or think that we are somehow separate from the very essence of love. How could we forget? But we do, right? And then we remember again. Isn't it sweet when we remember again, when we come back home to the truth of who we are? And it's from this home that this action flows, that this idea of flow is experienced. Mihai says that people who experience flow, that at the end of the day, what they really talk about is that they are enjoying themselves. And enjoyment is being in joy. So it's in the very essence of joy and the quality of joy that is springing forth and being expressed through us is what happens. He calls the people who are in this, that often go to flow, that can easily and habitually move into flow, autoletic people. Now, we all have the potential to be autoletic people. He says that autoletic people, the thing about them, and we all get this, is that they don't make their goals based on biological or socially conventional reasons. Their goals don't come from that place, they come from within. And that they know that at any time that they have the power and the strength and the resilience and the can-do attitude that will carry them through to the fullness of their goal, or that they will change direction. But there is that kind of sense of confidence and faith. Where does that come from? Principle number 1. And 2, really. Because 2 is the knowing that I'm a part of that I am merged with that I am divine in my nature, that I cannot be separated from that magnificence that I have come to be. And that isn't said in any kind of egoic way. In fact, it's got the most humility in it. Because it is the kind of, wow, I have been given all the gifts I could ever need. I've been given all the possibilities to create with. And so the world is now my canvas or my blank sheet of paper to write upon, or my dance floor, or whatever it may be. It is that place in which we can begin to play and co-create and be in joy. Oh, when we know, it's so good, right? When we are sitting here together in this room, and I can feel that palpable sense of, yeah, we're getting this, we know this, we all are knowing this and remembering maybe moments of it. So what do we do so that we don't walk out the door and forget? Just, let it be your ritual now. Just kind of breathe in whatever it is that, if you've had sort of a getting it moment, a remembrance moment this morning, just take it in now. Let it seep into your heart, into your gut, to be here now, and to know that you carry it everywhere you go. See, that's prayer. That's prayer and meditation. At any time, letting something just really seep in. And then you have that well within you to just drop in at any time and go, oh yeah, I remember how that felt on Sunday when I let that really drop in. I remember how that felt to be in a whole room full of people who were doing similar consciousness work in the world, who are dedicated and committed to their path, who are wanting so much to be in that divine flow, to be that very essence of God in the world, to be spreading this joy, to be that contagious one who everybody wants to be around so that they can be inspired to remember who they are. And we're not far from it. If you think for a minute you're far from that, it's right here. It's right here. It's a breath. It's a step. It's a thought. It's a feeling. It's that quick. And then there we are again, the undercurrent of spirit. There we are in the river. I would love to live like the river flows, carried by the surprise of its own unfolding. Guess what? We do. We can. We are. If we don't feel like we are, it's just a slight shift. It's just a minuscule little shift in perception, or the drop within that says, oh yeah, there I am. I remember what it felt like in that moment when I knew I wasn't alone, when I was surrounded by all these people. And we were all having that experience of, yeah, I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to be in the timelessness and the spacelessness of spirit. I know what it feels like to be a co-creator with God. I know what it feels like to be in the well of prayer and be so filled up with all the glory and the light and the power and the truth, and to know I just can't hold it in. And why would I want to? Because I want to share it with everybody. That's the fifth principle. That's prosperity in action. That's us being the prosperity, not just having it, but being it in the world. So how do we do all this? I'm so glad you asked. We've really kind of walked through it a lot when we look at each of the principles. But, if we look at the principles as sort of banks of the river, if we ourselves are, the spirit in us is the river, our lives are the river, then if you think of the principles as sort of the banks of the river, they give us a little guidance. They give us a little place to sort of realize, oh, okay, I want to go this way, I want to go this way, I want to flow down that way. And to stay with the river metaphor for a moment longer. When I think of a river, I think of, well, it receives from the source, right? The fresh rain. So the river is always receiving from the source, and then what does it want to do? As soon as it receives, it wants to rush back to the mother ocean, right? So it receives from the source, and it wants to give back to the source. And that's us. That's like our innate law of circulation and prosperity, right? We give, we receive, and we want to give. And we give, and in the giving we receive, and there's that constant flow. And so these principles are the banks, the guiders, the guidance system, the way that allows us to help, bump up against it and to realize, oh, there's that truth again. There's that memory again. I'm divine. That's right. I'm divine. I'm getting back in the river and knowing the truth of who I am. Oh my gosh, that's right. I co-create my life. This stuff that's going on in my life, this drama that I don't want, that is, pulling me down and making me feel heavy and drained, or this craziness that's going on in the world, and I keep going back to the news over and over again and bumping my head up against a wall. Maybe I'll do something different. That's right, I'm a co-creator of life. What brings me joy? It's the only question we ever need. Sometimes people think these New Thought teachings are self-serving, but that's because they don't really get what it's about. Because on the surface, it looks like we want the goodies of enlightenment and bliss and abundance for ourselves. But that's not why we want them, because once we've got it, all we want to do is share it. It's about sacred service. It's about flow. It's about sharing it with the world. It's about embodying. It's about being the fifth principle. And so it's that which keeps us alive, that keeps us in our river, and these banks just help us along the way. And so there we are, going along, and the river gets a little stagnant, and we realize, oh, I'm kind of feeling heavy. And it's feeling like a lot, all the debris, the rocks, the sticks, the things that are going on in my life. And we realize, oh, I could just sink in right here, right? Right into the depths of this river, into the well of prayer. And there I am, rejuvenated and refilled and flowing once again. So if it was only these that we knew, it'd be more than enough. Because it gives us that constant guidance to realize what we need to be back in the flow, what it is that we want to do to be alive and well. In the Gospel of Thomas, it says, if you bring forth that which is within you, it will save you. It also says if you don't bring forth that which is within you, it will destroy you. The second part, not so uplifting. But if we bring forth that which is within us, it will save us. So when somebody asks you if you're saved next time, you can just say, I'm saving myself and I'm saving everything. Yes. And I'm in action. I'm saving. Not that we're going out and proselytizing, but we're living our lives. And as we live our lives, people want a little more of that, right? They see it. They see the joy. They see the prosperity. They see the good. They see the flow and the creativity. And that's what we all want to be in, that river that continues to be surprised by its own unfolding, its own prosperity. Years ago, I took a group of folks on a bike ride on the Katy Trail in Missouri. 225 miles we rode, not in one day, several days. We like to enjoy ourselves. Well, I guess some people enjoy that, 225 miles in a day. Anyway, we're not the ones who do. But hi to my friends at Unity of Columbia that might be watching, that might have been on that bike ride. So anyway, we had been, cycling a lot. So there was sort of that constant pedal motion. And I remember at one time pulling over and going to sit by the Big Muddy, the big Missouri River, and just to have a few moments to meditate. And it's that feeling of like my body never really felt fully rested because it was still in motion. Do you ever have that feeling? But what was really cool about it was I did feel rested because I started to realize that there was like my cells and my atoms and everything was so alive and moving, and the energy was sort of pulsing. And then I noticed that the crickets, the energy of the crickets and the flow of the river and the flowers kind of waving in the breeze, and it was just this sense of everything is alive and teeming with life. And this, this prayerful life that we sometimes think has to be so sedentary is also a prayer in motion. It's also a life in motion, in action, in service, in creative flow. And so that feeling of oneness with all of that and that teeming, pulsing life was a prayer in and of itself, of a different kind. It wasn't super still and quiet, but it was still enough for me to feel the motion. And to remember that we are given these bodies, this beautiful experience and temple, so that we can express that which wants to be expressed in the world, so that we can be the vehicle through which it is known. Flow is always here. That undercurrent of energy is always here. And so when we recognize who we are, we do indeed flow like the river. We do indeed actually can sometimes be that mighty river that is rushing forward, that is rushing to the sea, that is rushing to give out all that we have to give and to be. And if it feels like too much at any time, guess where we go? One step back, principle number 4. Drop in, replenish. Allow yourself to that you can, and your mind, so that you can go forth and once again get in that groove, that wonderful place where things just flow in a timeless, spaceless way. That's the joy of being alive, isn't it? These kinds of times. So these moments don't have to be isolated moments or isolated stories anymore. It's just simply how we live, how we show up. Let's be this together. Let's be this river. Let's know that all that we think and say and do is banked on this truth. And let's speak it together as we close out. The river of spirit flows as me in all I think, say, and do. So it is.
Kristen, thank you so much. And thank you so much for these 5 weeks. I was sitting here looking at Elena's paintings through the whole service because of the angle I had, and the whole thing just comes together. And I was thinking, I've been around Unity for a while, but not as long as a lot of you, and to really take these 5 weeks and really work with the principles in the way that Kristen has and that we all have, has just been a real blessing, and I really appreciate it, and I think a lot of people here do, so thanks, Kristen. Our prayer chaplains are available after the service to provide personal prayer support. If you're a prayer chaplain serving today, please stand. Oh boy, we got a whole bunch of prayer chaplains today. As you can see, they're wearing their lavender stoles. And whether you have a joy or a concern in your heart today, praying with our prayer chaplains is a powerful way to have your intentions raised up in consciousness. And now I'd like to invite Linda Rexroth, who has a testimonial.
Can you hear me? Hi. Good afternoon. Reverend Kristen asked me to share some of my experiences with tithing. Just for a little bit of a background, my background was knowing nothing about tithing. I remember my father folding a check and putting it in the offertory every Sunday. That was it. When I came to Unity in 1989, I was absolutely blown away by what the minister was saying about love and connection, and we're all together. And I cried through the whole thing. And I thought, oh my God, they're so giving, they're so loving. This is not my experience. And so when several years later, like 14 years later, I had given like between $1 and $10
a week. That was my tithe. And that was out of, as Kristen talked about, my fear, my deprivation. What did I have? So a few weeks later, I talked to my husband. I said, John, do we tithe to Unity? And he said, we really don't have enough money to do that right now. And I was, well, wait a minute. I want to tithe. And I'm serious. I want to do this now. And I thought, well, maybe I should tell you why I want to tithe. When I came here, I had sustained a back injury. I could not walk or stand for more than 10 minutes. My marriage was breaking up. I was probably not going to return to my job of a gazillions of dollars. And here I am thinking, oh my God, and I want to start a business I don't even know how to do. So being here, coming here, one of the things that I got was love, connection. This is not what I'm used to. This is not the kind of church I grew up in. And I simply want to give back to those who gave to me. That's why I want to tithe. When we didn't say too much more about this, a couple of weeks later, John came back and he says, well, I've been thinking about what you said, and I have a plan. And in 6 weeks, by following this plan, we're going to be tithing. So I said, great. Now, we had only made the commitment. We had not done anything else. And that first week, I got 7 new clients. We started having articles written about us from the Contra Costa Times. We had the San Francisco Chronicle calling us and saying, gee, we want to take pictures and do an article about you. And I'm going, whoa, what is this? And as this all is transpiring, I'm looking at the gentleman who showed up to take pictures of us in our class an hour and a half early, wondering, why are you here so early? And he said, well, to take pictures. And I said, yeah, well, you're going to take 2 pictures. He said, well, no, actually, I'm going to take pictures of your whole class. He said, you don't look like someone who the editor of this San Francisco Chronicle told that you're going to be on the front cover of the food section of the Chronicle. I said, no, she didn't. And so from there, and he just casually remarked, he said, well, this is going to grow your business. And I said, okay. And it did. We began to teach a lot more students. Several years and months later, I talked to one of the members here, Reverend Juliana, and I said, all this stuff that's happening to us, this is just amazing. I don't understand this. I said, we gave out of love and gratitude, and I said, we didn't give because, well, I want something in return. But it's coming. It's all here. And she said, very few people understand tithing. And she said, by you not tithing, you had blocked not only your good, but the good of the universe. So with this, I was completely amazed. And a couple of weeks ago, Reverend Kristen did a talk, and she mentioned Edwene Gaines and how she was going through difficulties, and so she decided that she'd up her tithe to 25%. Reverend Kristen in the talk said, well, I'm going to do that. And I said to myself and God, I'm going to do that too. And here again, the universe loves a made-up mind. And so it didn't matter what I was going to do or when I was going to do it. What ended up happening was I immediately got a call while I was on vacation with a person who wants to license our children's program and use it in the Oakland school districts. Oh, yeah, I have chills all over. I really want to close with something that's really important. I just recently read an article in a periodical, and the article was titled Happy Money. And when people asked the author, what do you mean happy money? And the author said, well, what I mean by happy money is that this is money that's circulated with love, care, and friendship, as opposed to unhappy money, which is circulated in frustration, anger, fear, and despair. And although we don't always have control over our money, we have control over how we feel about our money. So today I feel joy, and that's when I'm tithing in action. Thank you.
bring Linda back to do a Sunday talk. Nice job, Linda. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I get that same feeling. So now let's open our hearts to a practice of giving. I invite you to prepare your gifts as we align with the universal law of circulation. As we give, we shall receive. Because in truth, there is no lack or limitation, and abundance is our true nature. For your convenience, there are a variety of ways to give financially to this community. For electronic giving, you may download the Give app or take an envelope from the clipboard in the back of the chair in front of you. And there are new gold cards that are in the chair back in front of you. And for those of you who give electronically or perhaps give just like some people I know give at the beginning of the month and then skip weeks because they do the whole month at a time, whatever it is, if you want to put something in the basket as it comes by, there's an opportunity to have something to place in there. Those of you at home may click on the Give Here or Donate button on the Watch Live page. So now I invite you to take your tithe or offering in your hand and repeat our affirmation with me together. Divine love, one with me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful. Thank you.
I've had so many doubts along the way. Felt like life was just another bill to pay without anything to show. But now I'd figured out that every day my fortune's always found within my faith. And all I needed was to let it flow. For there's no wall around me, only fear has truly bound me. And all I need is trust and I am free. I'm sitting on a gold mine. I'm sitting on a gold mine. My treasure has been right here all the time. I'm sitting on a gold mine. Oh yeah. Finally, I'm breaking through so many lies. All those people telling me to run and hide from the truth of what I am. But now I'm telling you the future's bright. Tomorrow shines like diamonds in the sky. And all I needed was to understand that whatever I'm believing, well, that's what I'm receiving from the riches that reside inside of me. I'm sitting on a gold mine. Sitting on a gold mine. My treasure has been right here all the time. Sitting on a gold mine. Dave Holt. So don't you listen, never listen to the voice that says you better play it safe, that says you don't have any choice, 'cause you're as gifted as an angel, as brilliant as the sun. Say the word and heaven has begun. We're sitting on a gold mine. We're sitting on a gold mine. Our treasure has been right here all the time. We're sitting on a gold mine. Sitting on a gold mine. Woo-hoo! Sitting on a gold mine. Sitting on a gold mine. Oh, 1, 2. Sitting on a gold mine. Thank you. A hand for the band. And you thought you were sitting on something else, right?
All right, let's bless all this goodness, shall we? That's right, all our gold, our treasure. Ah, it's true. The treasure is right here in this room, all around this room, and we give thanks for these symbols of the treasure, the abundant flow out into the universe that allows our ministry to continue to touch and inspire and transform and heal lives. Thank you, God, for the gift of being here and being the very action of Spirit in the world. Let's bless it together. We give thanks for the ever-increasing, constant flow of absolute good in our lives now. So it is.
We are marching, ooh, we are marching in the light of God. We are marching, ooh, we are marching in the light of God.
Good morning. Hi, everybody. We were in the Twilight Parade last night. Do we have a picture? There were miniature horses and marching bands and cheerleaders and veterans and Unity. All types of people, all people from the community, and we were there too representing. It was great. The kids had scooters. We had these fun ribbons and things, and we had our banner, and we passed out positive affirmations to the crowd. So it was a wonderful time. Oh, thank you to our banner, one of our banner holders there, and it was amazing. So this is something we're going to try and do again next year. We hope all of you will march with us next year. So thank you.
Let's bless our teachers and children, shall we? Together. Children, youth, and teachers, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divine light within you. I invite you now, if you'd like to take your neighbor's hand as we close out with the prayer of protection and the peace song. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God ever present, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
You are the light and the love and the peace on earth right now. So let your light shine and spread joy or have fun. right.